Okay, here's my home screen. I've got it set up on urea. I'm going to go to my work screen, and I've got it on 250. My first rate on 250 pound, my second rate on 300 pounds. And you can toggle around on here by touching these different places on this screen to start with. This is the way it shows up if you hit this button, what I call the work screen. If you want to change something on this screen, you hit this little wrench right here. Okay, that wrench allows you to change rate 1, rate 2, or the increment. And to change one of those rates, that's reset rate 1. If you wanted to set that to 200 pound to the acre, you just punch in 200 pounds and hit the check mark. It's changed to 200 pounds. Okay, your increment, if you want to change that increment to just say 50 pounds, change it to 50, hit the green check mark. Once you get that changed, and I'll tell you what this increment is in just a minute. You go back to the work screen. It shows the target rate and the actual rate. Now the target rate's 200 pound because we've got target rate, we got 1 selected. If we select number 2, it changes the target rate to 300 pound. Now we don't have an actual rate because we're not spreading. When we started spreading, hopefully this would match that. So it gives us our target and our actual rate. If you want to run the bed chain setting still, you can go into manual mode by hitting this. Now that puts it in manual, and it says off. You don't have a target rate. If you want to unload the spreader, you'd kick your PTO in gear, get everything to going, and then you would hit this button here or this button here, and that would speed up and slow down your bed chain. And that's pretty much all your functions from that screen. I'm going to put it back on target rate of 200 pound. Okay, now if you hit that little bin down there, and the little bin's gray, when you have your bed chain switch on, that thing turns green, and it needs to turn green so you know your module is recognizing that your switch is on. And it's beeping at me telling me that I've got to shut my master switch off because I don't have any speed in it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back off. Okay, and there would be a speed show up here if we were moving. Okay, on your product settings, you just simply hit your product settings, and it tells us what our product is, but this is where you put your density in. What does it weigh per cubic foot? In the same way, you just touch it and then change it to whatever it weighs per cubic foot, and then hit enter. Your feed gate opening, same way. You just hit the feed gate opening, tell it what the machine has actually got the gate set on. And then your conveyor rate, that's what we call the constant number, and that 0.2560 is the theoretical number for an 18-inch mesh chain. Now that will be different per chain, but there's a place you can go in here and run a catch test, and it will actually change that number for you if you just follow the instructions. And that's the theoretical number that we've got worked out. Okay, let's go back. Spreader control. Okay, this is where you change your spread swath. And the same way, if you hit that, you just put your width in. If you wanted it on 80 feet, you hit, well, you got to hit the number, 80 feet, and then there it is. It changed it to 80 feet. Now this is where you can do your static calibration or your in-field calibration, and it takes you through a little wizard. It's pretty neat. It works. You just pretty much tell it how many pounds. It tells you how many pounds you ran off, and you tell it how many pounds that you actually ran off if it was wrong, and it'll change that constant number that I was talking about beforehand. Okay, let's go back to this screen. This screen here is where it would count this bin level down for you. And we've got in here how many cubic feet this bin is, and I think this alarm would go off when you had 10% left. Okay, that takes you to your screen. It shows to your map screen. It shows down here your guidance portion of it, and shows where we're at. And if you start spreading, it'll start filling in behind you. And to do that, you would just simply start and turn your bed chain on, and it gives you your target rate here and your actual rate in pounds per acre. Now, if you want to, right now we've got this thing set, I think, on urea. Okay. If we back out to this home screen, if we want to change from urea to something that's already in the menu, you hit this button here. Okay, that goes you to your field operation wizard. So we're already in growing session or growing season and grower. You just keep going through. That's where you would name the farm and the field if you were going to name a farm and a field. Keep going on through. Okay. Select product. This is where you would change your product. I think we had it on urea. We're going to change it to DAP. Okay. Now, it's wanting to know, do I want to add to the whatever map I was doing last, or do I want a brand new map? I'm going to say I want a brand new map. Okay. So you hit your check mark. Now it's asking you, are you wanting to control this product in pounds? And of course we are. Okay, now we're on DAP. We just changed our product. Okay, if we don't have the product in there in that pull down menu to choose from, you have to go back and create that product. You hit this little wrench, and then you go into application. Okay, now what are we trying to change? We're trying to change our product. So let's hit product. Okay, this is the three, I only got 3 products in it, and that's the 3 that was in that drop down menu a while ago. If I want, and this thing wants to know what you're spreading. So if you're spreading something and it's not created, you hit this green plus button, and that's going to add a product. Add a product. Okay, it's fertilizer, and this thing's got a lot of different menus in that. Herbicides, fungicides, this thing will do a lot of different things. So we know we're spreading fertilizer. And then there's some drop down menus here. And you can scroll down through these menus and find what you're looking for. And I'm just going to put ag. Now I'm going to choose ag lime. Ag lime. Okay, go on through, hit your blue arrow. Do we want to monitor that in pounds? Yes, so let's go on. Okay, if you want to add ag lime, if you want it to say ag lime and something else, then you can add characters to ag lime. I'm just going to leave it alone. Ag lime's good enough. Okay, now ag lime showed up. So this is not where we choose the product. We just made the product. In other words, this will show up in our drop down menu here when we get back. Okay, close out of that. Okay, it pops up on this screen. Close out of that, and it'll go back to our home screen. Okay, now we can go back into this menu and go through. We're still in that growing season and that what grower. Okay, farm, field, we're still in the same field. Okay, go on through, select product. Now we've got ag lime, because in this drop down menu, everything that you create in that product is going to show up in this menu. So there's no use in going all the way back out and creating a product every time. Now we've got ag lime in there. Let's choose ag lime. Green arrow. Now it's wanting to know, are you controlling it by the pound? Yes, we don't have to do anything there. What that does is just ask you to make sure that it's per pound. Hit your green arrow, it says DAP, and then it changed over to ag lime. Now we're ready for ag lime if we went in and changed all of our other stuff, because when you swap to lime, you're obviously going to change your pounds. Okay. Okay, if we want to change our pounds, then we need to go into here. So let's change our rate. Let's put on 2,000 pounds. Now rate 1 set at 2,000 pounds. So let's go back to this screen. Now we got 2,000 pounds. Still got 300 in there for our second rate, but I'm going to leave it on 2,000 pounds. Okay, now we have to go back in and tell it what we got in our bin. We already know it's ag lime, but product settings, the density, see, it automatically changed it to 85.09 pounds per cubic foot for some reason. I'm going to change that to 90 pounds per cubic foot. And of course we're going to have to raise our gate up because we're spreading lime. So let's put it on just say a 10-inch gate. And we have to go back and change our gate. Now this constant number, you don't have to mess with it. Even though you change that gate height, that's something that's set one time. And that constant number is for a 1-inch gate height, but you don't have to mess with it. Okay, go back, spreader control. If we want to spread on 60 foot, which that's what we spread lime on, I'm going to leave it there. And then our spinner speed, it's this particular unit don't have spinner speed control on it. This is not going to make any difference to you unless you have spinner speed control. Go back. Now we're ready to spread. All we would have to do is kick our PTO in, start spreading, turn the switch on, and we would be spreading lime 60 foot wide at 2,000 pounds to the acre. And it would show us on our map here. And that's pretty simple.